Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Here, we try to cover some of the best thrilling stories and novels of world literature. Today, we're diving into the heartwarming and poignant short story, The Last Leaf, by O. Henry. Settle in as we explore this tale of hope, friendship, and the power of art. Born William Sidney Porter in 1862, O. Henry was an American short story writer known for his witty twist endings. Despite facing personal hardships, including imprisonment for embezzlement, O. Henry's stories often reflected his keen observations of everyday life and his empathy for human conditions. Even he did some of his greatest works while he was in prison. Henry's most famous works include The Gift of the Magi, The Ransom of Red Chief, and of course, The Last Leaf. Now, let's dive into the story. Our story begins in Greenwich Village, a quaint old neighborhood in a little district west of Washington Square in New York City, known for its art community. Here, at the top of a squatty three-story apartment, lived two young women, Sue and Johnsy. Both of them were aspiring artists and had a joint little studio beside their bedroom. They were best friends. One was from Maine, the other from California. In one November, as winter set in, Johnsy fell seriously ill with pneumonia. She lay, scarcely moving, on her bed, looking through the small Dutch window panes. The disease spread rapidly through the colony, claiming many lives. The doctor's visits became frequent and worrisome. One morning, the busy doctor came to examine Johnsy while Sue looked on anxiously. Before leaving, the doctor reported the anamnesis to Sue in the studio room.
She has one chance in, let us say 10, and that chance is for her to want to live. The way people line up on the side of the undertaker makes the entire pharmacopoeia look silly. Your little lady has made up her mind that she's not going to get well. Has she anything on her mind?
She wanted to paint the Bay of Naples someday.
Paint? Bush? Has she anything on her mind worth thinking about twice? A man, for instance?
A man? Is a man worth? But no, doctor, there is nothing of the kind.
Well, it is the weakness, then. I will do all that science, so far as it may filter through my efforts, can accomplish. But whenever my patient begins to count the carriages in her funeral procession, I subtract 50% from the curative power of medicines. If you will get her to ask one question about the new winter styles and cloak sleeves, I will promise you a 1 in 4 chance for her instead of 1 in 10.
Okay, doctor.
After the doctor had gone, Sue cried a lot. After a while, Sue thought,
Johnsy must not see me weeping.
Being determined, she swaggered into Johnsy's room, whistling ragtime. Johnsy lay, scarcely making a ripple under the bedclothes, with her face toward the window. Sue stopped whistling, thinking she was asleep.
Oh no, she must be asleep. I shouldn't have whistled.
15, 14, 13.
Then she heard a low sound, several times repeated. She went quickly to the bedside.
12, 11.
Johnsy's eyes were open wide. She was looking out the window and counting backward.
7.
Sue looked solicitously out the window. What was there to count? There was only a bare, dreary yard to be seen, and the blank side of the brick house, some 20 feet away. An old ivy vine, gnarled and decayed at the roots, climbed halfway up the brick wall. The cold breath of autumn had stricken its leaves from the vine, until its skeleton branches clung, almost bare, to the crumbling bricks.
What is it, dear?
6. They're falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100. It made my head ache to count them. But now, it's easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left now.
5 what, dear? Tell your Sudie.
Leaves on the ivy vine. When the last one falls, I must go too. I've known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you?
Sue looked out the window again to grasp what Johnsy was trying to say exactly. There were 5 leaves on the vine only, and the strong wind blew the rest away.
Oh, I never heard of such nonsense. What do old ivy leaves have to do with your getting well? And, you used to love that vine, so you naughty girl, huh? Don't be a goosey. Why, the doctor told me this morning that your chances for getting well real soon were, let's see exactly what he said. He said the chances were 10 to 1. Why, that's almost as good a chance as we have in New York when we ride on the streetcars or walk past a new building, huh? Try to take some broth now and let Sudie go back to her drawing so that she can sell the editor man with it and buy port wine for her sick child and pork chops for her greedy self.
You needn't get any more wine. There goes another. No, I don't want any broth. That leaves just 4. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I'll go too.
Johnsy dear, will you promise me to keep your eyes closed and not look out the window until I am done working, huh? I must hand those drawings in by tomorrow.
But I want to see the last one fall. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of thinking. I want to turn loose my hold on everything and go sailing down and down, just like one of those poor, tired leaves.
Try to sleep. I must call Behrman up to be my model for the old hermit miner. I'll not be gone a minute. Don't try to move till I come back.
Now, old Behrman was a German-origin painter who lived on the ground floor, beneath them. He was past 60 and had a Michelangelo's Moses beard curling down from the head of a satyr along the body of an imp. His English would sound quite peculiar in his German accent. Behrman was a failure in art. For 40 years he had wielded the brush without getting near enough to touch the hem of his mistress's robe. He had been always about to paint a masterpiece, but had never yet begun it. For several years, he had painted nothing, except now and then a daub in the line of commerce or advertising. He earned a little by serving as a model to those young artists in the colony who could not pay the price of a professional. He drank gin to excess and still talked of his coming masterpiece. For the rest, he was a fierce little old man who scoffed terribly at softness in anyone, and who regarded himself as a special mastiff in waiting to protect the 2 young artists in the studio above. Sue found Behrman smelling strongly of juniper berries in his dimly lighted den below. In one corner was a blank canvas on an easel that had been waiting there for 25 years to receive the first line of the masterpiece. She told him of Johnsy's fancy, and how she feared she would indeed, light and fragile as a leaf herself, float away when her slight hold upon the world grew weaker.
Fess. Is there people in the world with their foolishness to die because leaves they drop off from a confounded vine?
I have not heard of such a thing. No, I will not pose as a model for your fool hermit thunderhead. Why do you allow that silly peaceness to come in their brain of her? Ach, that poor little Miss Johnsy.
She is very ill and weak, and the fever has left her mind morbid and full of strange fancies. Very well, Mr. Behrman, huh? If you do not care to pose for me, you needn't. But I think you are a horrid old flibberty-gibbet.
You are just like a woman. Who said I will not pose? Go on. I come meet you. For half an hour, I have been trying to say that I am ready to boss. God, this is not any place in which one so good as Miss Johnsy shall lie sick. Someday I will paint a masterpiece and we shall all go away. God.
Johnsy was sleeping when they went upstairs. Behrman kept staring at Johnsy mercifully. After a while, Sue and Behrman peered out the window fearfully at the ivy vine. A persistent cold rain was falling, mingled with snow. Then, they looked at each other for a moment without speaking. Sue drew the curtains and motioned Behrman into the studio room. In his old blue shirt, Behrman took his seat as the hermit miner on an upturned kettle for a rock. When Sue awoke from an hour's sleep the next morning, She found Johnsy with dull, wide-open eyes, staring at the drawn curtains.
Pull the curtains, I want to see.
Wearily, Sue obeyed. But lo, after the beating rain and fierce gusts of wind endured through the livelong night, one ivy leaf stood out against the brick wall. It was the last on the vine.
It's the last one. I thought it would surely fall during the night. I heard the wind. It will fall today, and I shall die at the same time.
Dear, oh dear, think of me if you won't think of yourself. What would I do?
But Johnsy did not answer. The most lonesome thing in all the world is a soul, when it is making itself ready to go on its mysterious far journey. The fancy seemed to possess her more strongly, as one by one the ties that bound her to friendship and earth were loosed. The day wore away, and even through the twilight, they could see the lone ivy leaf clinging to its stem against the wall. And then, with the coming of the night, the north wind was again loosed, while the rain still beat against the windows and pattered down from the low Dutch eaves. When it was light enough, Johnsy, the merciless, commanded that the curtain be drawn. The ivy leaf was still there. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at it, and then she called to Sue.
I've been a bad girl, Sudie. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how wicked I was. It is a sin to want to die. You may bring me a little broth now and some milk with a little port in it, and no, bring me a hand mirror first, and then pack some pillows about me. Sudie, someday I hope to paint the Bay of Naples.
Sue was delighted to see her friend regaining the will of a normal human being, that is, to want to live. The doctor came in the afternoon, and Sue had an excuse to go into the studio room as he left.
Even chances. With good nursing, you'll win. And now I must see another case I have downstairs. His name is Behrman, some kind of an artist, I believe. Pneumonia, too. He is an old, weak man, and the attack is acute. There is no hope for him, but he goes to the hospital today to be made more comfortable.
The next day, the doctor came again to examine Johnsy.
Sue, she's out of danger. You've won. Nutrition and care now, that's all.
And that afternoon, Sue came to the bed of Johnsy.
I have something to tell you, White Mouse. Mr. Behrman died of pneumonia today in the hospital. He was ill for only 2 days. The janitor found him on the morning of the first day in his room downstairs, helpless with pain. His shoes and clothing were wet and icy cold. He couldn't imagine where Behrman had been on such a dreadful night. Then he found a ladder that had been dragged from its place, and a lantern, still lighted, and some scattered brushes, and a palette with green and yellow colors mixed on it. Look out the window, dear, at the last ivy leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never fluttered or moved when the wind blew? Ah, darling, it's Behrman's masterpiece. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell.
Yes, Sudie. A true masterpiece by a great soul. He sacrificed his life for his masterpiece, to make a wicked girl live.
Both of them cried a lot in the bereavement of Behrman. O. Henry's The Last Leaf is a powerful story about the impact of selfless acts and the importance of hope. Behrman's final masterpiece, painted with love and sacrifice, is a testament to the enduring human spirit. Thank you for joining us in exploring this touching story. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more literary tales and insights.